Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your March 16th to the 31st, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. This person is not me. I will not be soliciting you for anything. Do not be scammed by this scammer. With that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right. Let's let the bowl sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. 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 Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. And let's see the chakra energy for this time. Aries, March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides. Fantastic, these two. And then let's also see the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of? March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. What is the energy that Aries needs to be mindful of? March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic, these two. So we'll get here to this energy in just a moment. What we're going to look at here is the chakra energy. We have forgiveness, which is the heart chakra, which is always a challenge and always so beautiful when it comes up because there's a cleansing here that's going to be super important during this time. And then we have dreams, which is the third eye chakra. Now we're going to see how this correlates to the tarot. On the left-hand side, we have the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the page of Zephyrus, I believe that's how you say it, which is the page of swords. Then we have the 9 of swords, the Hermit, which is the repeat of the number 9. So we're coming very close to a completion of a cycle here. And Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy, time frame of November 22nd to December 21st. Okay? And then we have the Knight of Swords. All right, I love that progression. In our inner selves, we're the page, we're learning, and in the heart, we are the knight, we're the defender. So that's absolutely awesome. The 8 of Oak, the 8 of Pentacles, the Emperor, which is, of course, you shining through, which I love that, and the 7 of Wands, the 7 of Flames. We have the 10 of Swords. So what's crowning us during this time here, Aries, is the mind so exquisitely. And there's something that dies away. There is a death of an old self, a rebirth of the new self, which can be a bit painful during this time. And this is in the public arena. So there's a way that you're moving forward publicly that's like, I really feel, and I laugh because it is a bit funny because you're like not taking any bull. But the reason why I find this humorous is because Aries, you guys are so strong to begin with that not taking any bull is like your motto, right? So here, I mean, my nephew is an Aries, and I've never met somebody. He'll be 2 on the 1st of April. I've never met somebody who is so strong-willed in my life. We have the Ace of Cups right here, which is absolutely beautiful. The 3 of Cups. And the 3 of Wands, there we go, and the 2 of Wands. So I like that countdown from 3 to 2 right here, and that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous because there's something opening up to you, and it's because you're not taking any bull. It's like, I'm done with this. It's like gloves off, not playing nice. Well, okay, it's not playing meanly, but it's like there's a fierceness to you that if people underestimate it, they'll do it at their own peril. We have Star energy, which is Aquarius energy, time frame January 20th to February 18th. It's not just saying be aware of an Aquarius. It's like be aware of the emotional manipulators because they're going to be super good at this. And we have the Princess of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This is going to be a person that you feel really drawn to. And it's like hitting all the check marks of your sympathy, of your likes and your dislikes. But there's just something off about them. It's kind of like wanting a glass of milk and trying to drink it and it's being sour. So it's like you just want to spit it out. That's what I'm seeing here. I know it's an odd analogy, but that's what Spirit is giving. Okay, so let's look at everything here. So we are right here, the rulers of our hearts. And I love this because you have the bear with the baby bear. And if you know about bears, like bears don't stick around. Papa bears do not stick around. Actually, if a papa bear sticks around, he kills the young. That's just the way of the wild. So here, I love this sense of being a protective force that people wouldn't expect. I think that is so absolutely cool. I love these cards. Absolutely, they're brand new and they're thanks to you guys and your donations. You guys are amazing. So here, there is just this beautiful sense of power and brilliance. And these are called the Stolen Child from the Yeats poem, which is a beautiful poem. Okay, so let's stop gushing about the cards, and let's get down to business. So we have here with the heart chakra, we have forgiveness. And that's a huge part of this because we can't move forward if we do not forgive the past, if we do not, forgive ourselves. And the thing is, when we talk about forgiving others, that makes us seem very altruistic. That makes us feel like, very powerful. Again, it can be very hard to forgive others, but to say, I forgive you, that's a huge turning point. But what's even bigger is when we say, I forgive myself. And I just feel the weight in my heart chakra, just even saying that, it actually chokes me up right here. Because there's a sense of, as we are becoming students of our voice and of our breath, and as we are being the warriors that we need, and something is intrinsically dying away in order for us to stand in our power, to stand in our truth, to stand in our reason. The heart chakra comes forward and says, but we have to forgive. We have to forgive where we've stumbled. We have to forgive what we've lost. We have to forgive where we went wrong. And that's hard because life is hard. And we know all the skeletons in our closets. We know all the hurts and the pains and the disappointments that we have been through. We know it. And the heart chakra here is saying, okay, I know it. I see it. But I don't get to be punished for the rest of my life because of it. I get to forgive myself. And that's what the Ace of Cups is saying. It's like there's a cleansing that washes in, and it washes in the public arena in a very real way and in a very powerful way. So here, I mean, there can be tears. There can absolutely be tears, a sense of, a strengthening of the heart, a looking at what is desired. But it starts with forgiveness. And it starts with focusing on the heart chakra and saying, this is my heart, this is my soul, this is my beauty, this is my truth. And I get to be in love with my life. And so there's a breaking of chains, and it leads us to our dreams. It leads us to our third eye chakra really opening. And that's why there's going to be such a connection with the heart chakra, because the third eye chakra is opening and you're getting messages from spirit, from divinity, from your angels, and you're going to see yourself guided in such a way where you're like, oh, is that it? Oh, is that the way forward? Oh, I never looked at it that way. And by seeing things in this different light, by reevaluating the condemnation, and it is condemnation here. It's like the anger, the hurt, the pain, the disappointments that we've had in ourselves. It's like, oh, that's the beauty. Or like being mad at ourselves because we haven't achieved what we thought we were going to achieve in the arbitrary time frame that we had set up for ourselves. Spirit is saying now, listen to me and let me guide you. Listen to me and let things move forward, because the extraordinary will become part of your ordinary, and that will be the greatest gift. So you're going to be getting a lot of messages through your dreams, through your passions, through your understandings, and it's redefining and it's changing your world. And it brings us to saying here, be mindful of the energy that wants to take advantage of that. Be mindful of the energy that sees you on the cusp of something great and says, well, what about me? Can't I have that? So with Aquarius energy, Aquarius is beautiful energy when it is positive. When it is negative, not so much. It can be very manipulative. It can be very petty. And that's the type of energy. It's not simply an Aquarius that we want to be mindful of, though it can manifest that way in our lives. What we want to be mindful of is the emotional manipulation, is the fact that, we are going to be, our sympathy is going to be used against us by somebody who can read the crowd really, really well. And they have that ability, and it can be the same person here. It can be different people, and if it's different people, just be mindful of this, okay? And I laugh because it's it'll feel almost like you're being attacked on two fronts, and it'll almost feel like, wow, no good deed goes unpunished. And what you're going to see here with the Princess of Wands, this person is going to come across very much as a damsel, like very much as a damsel, but she's not a damsel at all. And I say she, just because it's the princess here, it can also very well be a prince, but it is going to be somebody who uses their passion, uses their connectiveness to what it is that you desire, to pull the heartstrings, to pull out what they know spiritually and earthly, what is desired, what they want to see. So that is going to be something here that we want to be very, very mindful of, because what's going on is there's this huge sense of the mind being powerfully involved. So when we analyze things, when we look at things, when we cut through the doubts and the fears and the chaos and everything like that, we are going to be left with an attack on what is intrinsically our purpose, okay, what we intrinsically want, or that could be corrupted and used against us. So here it's just being astoundingly mindful of this, because it can take something beautiful and turn it into something rather ugly. So we have here the page of Zephyrus, so the page of swords. The page of swords, and I love that she's cradled in the ribcage, because it's the voice, right? It is our voice, it is our passion, it's where we take in the air. So here we are a student of our breath. We can do Wim Hof's breathing exercises, which are amazing, and I highly recommend. I do them before the readings, and they just center and focus you like nothing else. They also make you feel astounding. It's tingly and wonderful. So here, the page of swords is the sense of learning how to cut through doubts and fears, learning how to stand in our individual truth. It is the truth that is right for us. It is like, it's kind of like our hill. Spirit keeps on saying the hill that we're willing to die on. And I know that sounds rather dramatic, and it is rather dramatic. But it's like, this is my truth. This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm developing. This is what's so intrinsically important to me. And as that comes forward, and as we embrace the power of our voice, as we, embrace the power of our understanding and our flight forward, as we look at things so exquisitely, okay, it moves us to the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords, which we see us conquering right here. And I know it's a bit morbid, but you have the rabbit with the owl. And that is the end of the rabbit. But we have the rabbit here in fear. And we can actually see the owl's feathers coming down. So are we going to live our lives in fear of what right now in the last half of March is guiding our existence, is guiding our heart, is guiding ourselves? And Spirit is saying here, don't live in fear of what is intrinsically and powerfully wanted. So here with the Nine of Swords, it's like, these are my nightmares, these are my doubts, this is everything that can go wrong. And believe me, if you're a A++ warrior like I can be at times, you'll see it. You'll see it powerfully, and you'll think, well, maybe if I don't move, Have you ever seen a rabbit and you're out walking your dog? Like, I walk Esme, right? And she loves rabbits. Oh my gosh, she would just love to catch it, and oh my gosh, and it would be horrible. So here, instead of the rabbit running, the rabbit freezes, right? When Esme sees the rabbit, sometimes, and then finally the rabbit will run. Here, it's not stopping the momentum. It's looking at fear and saying, it can paralyze me. It can paralyze me to the point where I just can't move. I just can't get to where it is that I want to be. But it can also make me go faster and make me face that fear and make me look at it and say, you don't get to control me. And that's a huge turning point. And that's part of what the Ten of Swords is all about. It's looking at that fear and saying, you don't get to be the truth of my existence. You don't get to be my defining factor. What I'm afraid of does not get to be what defines me. And that's a very powerful place to stand, because it's like, I'm going to my truth, I'm going to what I desire, I'm looking at what I'm terrified of. And it can be what absolutely terrifies us, right? And conquering it. It doesn't mean doing anything silly, like, I'm terribly afraid of heights, so I'm going to go, do silly things. No, it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm embracing my own inner strength. It's kind of like doing something uncomfortable every single day. Wim Hof says that, and I'm very intrigued by him. And he says, start your day with a 30-second cold shower. And he says, start it. You can end it with a cold shower, but I don't like that because it's too cold. Especially where I am in the world, it's too cold. So if you start the shower ice cold, right? He says that's making yourself face something uncomfortable, something brave every single day. And you don't want to do it. I putz around. I don't want to go into the shower because it's going to be cold. But once you do it, you actually feel like you've accomplished something. And then you can raise it up to 2 minutes. I'm only on 30 seconds right now, and I don't know if I'll ever increase it, but it's something brave. And that's what we're seeing here. It's like that, doing that something that requires us to be brave, that it requires us to be uncomfortable, that requires us to force our minds forward. That's so important here. And that's what we're the student of. It's like the student of the doors opening. And it brings us to the Hermit. It brings us to turning inward. And again, that's the repeat of the number 9. It brings us to turning inward, to looking at something in an extraordinary new way. It brings us to gathering a greater understanding, gathering a greater truth. The Hermit is the light that guides us. And so here, it's the light that guides us. It's our moral compass. You can look at it as that. You can look at it as Spirit's truth forward. You can look at it as, the reason why we're here on this earthly plane, to turn inward and say, what is it that I really want? When the crowd, when the herd is telling me to go one way, when, what is right for me is being tested. Because during this time, Aries, and I know I'm so excited because it's an exciting time. What you want most is being tested. And you can see, the way everybody's walking. And you can see what everybody wants everybody else to say and everybody wants everybody else to do. And you can either go with the crowd, or you can say, but this is my light, and this is my truth, and this is the way that I'm moving forward. And this is what I need to do for me. You don't need to tell anybody else. It's just the sense of, this is my empowerment, and it leads us to temperance. It leads us to balance. And that's what we need within our lives. It can't be all one way or another. It's kind of like if we ate chocolate all the time, every meal, at first it might be really fun, and we might think, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. But we'd feel sick sooner or later, some sooner more than later, right? So we need that balanced diet. We need that balance within our lives. And we need that balance within every single aspect of our lives. And I feel very much, and what Spirit is saying is that we're losing this balance. We're losing this sense of understanding, of harmony, of questions and seeking and discussions and beauty and truth and learning and all these exquisite things. And so what Spirit is saying here is that as you are a student of your mind and as you face the fears and you look inward, you find a balance. You find a harmony you didn't know was missing. You didn't know was so desperately being longed for. And it brings us to the Knight of Swords. Now, this is my favorite knight. Why? Because he is extraordinary. He is extraordinary, and that's kind of how I want to live my life, in an extraordinary way. So the Knight of Swords can be rash and bold and, not thinking. That's him in his negative form. So that's always something to be very mindful of. Am I just charging forward just for the sake of wanting change and needing that change? Is it just fueling the fire of my fire sign? So that has to be a question that is asked. But then there is this sense of, as we are facing these questions, as we are looking at things, we start to slay the dragons. We start to slay what is hoarding away our most valued truth, our most passionate self, our most beautiful being. And as we slay those dragons, we cut through the poison of the world, we embrace our gifts, and we ascend. We ascend to a higher place of consciousness, to a balance of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine aspects of ourselves. And we become the heroes of our stories. And our heart is longing for us to be that hero, to move ourselves forward that way. And it brings us then to the Eight of Wands. No, the Eight of Pentacles. There we go. Said the wrong word. The Eight of Pentacles. It brings us to our hard work paying off. Emotionally, we're seeing it. And what's interesting is, like, we break this cage, or we name this cage. That's very important for human beings. We need to name the hurts and the traumas and the dramas that we have been through. We need to look at the monsters and we need to name them, because we need to own them. We need to almost put a chain around them and say, instead of being the monster that's screaming in my face, you're going to be the monster that stands behind me and helps me move forward in the direction that I want my life. And with the Eight of Pentacles, our hard work pays off, because we're doing that, because we're claiming our powers. We're looking at the uncomfortable truths. Life isn't always meant to be easy. In Buddhism, they say life is suffering. And that's the best kind of English translation that we have. And in Christianity, they say pick up your cross. What is the cross that you have to bear? And so here, there is a sense that it's not always supposed to be nice and comfortable. And I think that's absolutely important. Because for us to transform, which is what this time is powerfully about, but also claiming the power, claiming the abundance, claiming the magnificence of ourselves, we have to be uncomfortable. And you might be sitting there saying, Dane, I've been uncomfortable for so long. It's been such a hard road. Now it's starting to see things paying off in one way or another. It might not be in the lotto win-off way that we want it to be, but it's in a very powerful, succinct, purposeful way that we start to see things lining up. We start to see what we've sacrificed for, what we've worked so hard for, starting to come together within our hearts, within our souls, within ourselves. And it brings us to the Emperor. It brings us to claiming our power, to claiming our voice, to knowing our truth. The Emperor represents you, Aries, completely, utterly, and totally. This is the very essence of self. So here with the Emperor, okay, the Emperor is power. Aries is power. Aries is the god of war, all right? So there's a will to you that can move heavens and hells. It just can. There's a fight to you. There's a determination to you that I find astoundingly enviable, right? The key here is harnessing it, because we're turning inward and we're seeing how to harness it, not through nightmares, not through fear, not through a kind of reactionary way. It's kind of like that, the saying, you never win by playing defense type of thing, but through looking into the world and saying, oh, there's more here than I realized. There's more to me than what I thought. And there comes a time, and there comes a place during this time where you start to nurture something really extraordinary. You start to claim the throne, not because you think yourself the best person in the whole entire world. Usually people who do should not have thrones, right? But because it's my life. And that's what we say to ourselves. It's my life. I get to rule it, because nobody gets to rule over me. The Emperor is this passion, is this determination, is this force. Aries is the god of war. It's the general, it's the person who leads. And that's what we're doing here. And what's so interesting is that Aries and Venus become lovers, right, in Greek mythology. So the heart and it's like the love and the violence come together. And that's what we're seeing here. It's like an extraordinary way of moving us forward and saying, but this is what I want. This is my passion. This is my truth. This is what I desire. And it's looking at what we truly desire in our lives and giving us hope, giving us a voice, letting us focus things. And it brings us then to the Seven of Wands. It brings us to knowing what battles to fight and what to walk away from. We've seen the people that, and we've been there, right? Where we fight every battle. And it just becomes too much. The Seven of Wands, and it becomes exhausting. But also, when we look at people who fight every single battle, there's almost a sense of why. And then what's really important? If we're going to be angry about everything, if we're going to fight everything, then when we fight, when we stand up for something, it doesn't have the same gravitas as if we, step back and we said, no, I'm not going to fight that. No, you know what? I'm going to let that go. No, I'm not going to do that. That person's just, they don't understand. That's fine. But then when we fight, when we stand up for our truths, for what we desire, it means so much more. And it's like, yeah, that's it. That's where I need to be. That's what I want within my life. And it's opening up the door. It's opening up the door because another way to put the Seven of Wands, it's like fight smartly, all right? Save your energy, fight smartly. Don't get angry and offended about everything and don't think, oh, okay, I have to fight every battle, because that can be very easy. Aries energy, that can be a very natural place, especially for a developing Aries to be. So we see that in Aries, especially when they're younger or newer souls in the world. It's like, oh my gosh, look at this injustice. Look at everything that's going on. I have to fight, and I have to fight hard. It's like, no, we have to fight smart, because then that means everything. That means absolutely everything. It's kind of like a person who curses all the time. All right? The curse doesn't mean anything because it's just, they curse all the time. So that's just part of their vocabulary, right? But if you have a person who curses very seldomly, that signifies something. That's, you're totally changing course when that becomes part of the vernacular that they're using, part of the way that they're structuring themselves, okay? And it's a sign of showing a shift in things. And that's what we're going to see here. It's like that shift. And it becomes powerful and beautiful and extraordinary, and it leads us to the Ten of Swords. It leads us to a dying away of the old self and a rebirth of the new. It leads us to this place where it's like, oh, well, that's what it was for, wasn't it? That's what all the heartbreak, all the pain, all the disappointment, all the anger, all the upset, all the upheaval, it was for this. It was for this truth and this power. It was for this understanding. It was for this sense of me. And the Ten of Swords is the darkness before the dawn. And I love the vulture over the angel ghost boy. Because as much as we look at vultures and can be repulsed by them and are naturally repulsed by them because they can eat, carrion and not get sick, right? And so they have diseases on them that we just don't want. There's a valuable part of a vulture. There's a valuable, ecological purpose to them. And that's what we're going to see. There's a valuable purpose to the pain that we have been through, because it's forging us in a way that if life was easy and everything was easy and everything just fell into place, we would never be forged to. And it brings us to the Ace of Cups. It brings us to a connection with our hearts. It brings us to a washing away of doubts and of fears and of angers and of upsets. And it brings us to this cleansing. And this is where the tears can come. I mean, because we have a transformation, we have a finding of balance, we have this, exquisiteness of power coming forward and really focusing on the way that we want to see the payoff of our life guide us. And we're becoming these warriors and we're becoming these students. And there's a sense of bringing so much more to the table than what people are expecting. And then there is this cleansing, this healing, this sense of divinity saying, it's time to wash away the hurts, the pains, the disappointments, the angers, the fears. It's not that they will not be there. It's that they will not define you forever and ever. There will be more here than what you realize, than what you anticipated. And there's a cleansing away. And as this cleansing happens, this emotional truth comes forward. This heart, this soul, this passion, this desire. And there's so much more to it than what we realize. So when Spirit says there's going to be sensitivity during this time, be mindful of that. Be mindful of that, because there is an openness to you. There is an openness of the heart and the mind and the world and this connection to it, that you'll feel things just so much more intensely. And you'll be like, but why? Why is it going this way? Why are we doing this? Like, what the heck is going on here? And emotionally, you're going to find yourself purging away so much of what has held you back, what has been the defining factor of hurts and pains and fears and doubts and disappointments and upsets. There's a lot here that gets brought to the surface and washed away. Now it comes back because it's in our psyche and it's part of how we have been forged by this world. But it can come back with less intensity each time. When we think about the moments of heartbreak and pain and disappointment, they won't carry the same bile that they did before. And it brings us to the Three of Wands. It's like with this healing comes this new way forward. It's like there's a new horizon. There's something extraordinary that we didn't think would ever be there. We didn't think the world would open like this. And there's something here, and this is the public arena. It's like once this rebirth is claimed, and once the emotional hurt and despair is seen and understood, there's a way that we move forward, that we embrace a new horizon, a new dawn, a new determination that is a game changer. It redefines so much for us. And it's like we start to see things happening. We start to see payoffs. We start to see, prosperity coming in. We start to see bounty leading us forward. We start to see more than what we had imagined. New horizons, new passions, new truths. And it brings us then to the Two of Flames, the Two of Wands, where we hold the world and we look in. And it's like, oh, I'm looking in to the world instead of the world looming over me, judging me, weighing me down. I can stand tall and firm within my world. So in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the world is held in his hand. So it's in stark contrast to the classical imagery of Atlas being weighed down by the world, only being able to see his feet, only being able to see the dirt before him. And so here, it's like, instead of being weighed down, instead of being broken, okay? Not able to see the beauty beyond the self, okay? Now it becomes the extraordinary ability to see the beauty beyond where we are right now. And Spirit is saying very powerfully, do not live for the future and do not live in the past, because that's what we tend to do. We live in the past, which is living in pain, because we can't change it. We can't change the past no matter how much we want to, or no matter how much we want to relive that past. We can't. So it's always going to bring with it pain. We can't live in the future, because the future is a fantasy. It's a delusion. And that's a harsh way to put it, but we don't know. We don't know what the future brings. We have to live in the day. So often we're so busy living in the past and living in the future that the present is a gift we never unwrap. Is just completely forgotten. Who cares about the days? No, this is saying care about the days. Look into the world. See your power. See your grace. See your beauty. See where you stand. And know that you are enough. Not in that placating, patronizing way, but in that way that you are not made as a mistake. There is a power, there is a purpose, there is a destiny, there is a truth to you. Let that door open. Because something extraordinary comes forward if we let it. Now the subconscious message, let's do the, getting ahead of myself, the spirit animal message for this time. Let's look at the spirit animal message. What is the spirit animal message for Aries, March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. March 16th to the 31st, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic, these two. We have the wolf spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. That's what life is all about. Turning the knowledge that we accumulate into the wisdom that we live by and the wisdom that we share with others. So that is beautiful and extraordinary. And then we have the squirrel spirit. Believe in yourself. That's it. That's it. Plant the seeds of belief, of passion, of desire, of what it is that you want. I mean, heck, I have it tattooed on my arm. I don't know if you can see it. But believe. And it's to remind me always to believe in myself. Because self-doubt is real. Especially if you're embracing this world and trying to be as kind and compassionate as humanly possible. You are going to question yourself. You are going to question your motives. You are going to question everything. It's the ones who don't care, who don't question. It's the ones who sit there and say, I'm entitled to it, that just plow forward. Believe in yourself. Because we need more kind, generous people believing that they can. And then, because they believe, that's exactly what they do. They achieve. We need that. And during this time, it's the knowledge turning into wisdom. It's the belief in the self that starts to bring forward something extraordinary and something intrinsically powerful. Okay, now let's see what your chakra energy is for this time. Your subconscious chakra energy is angels and divinity. This is the soul star chakra located 6 inches above your crown. This is a sense of being protected. This is a sense of being guided. This is a sense of having this beauty around you. Use it. Utilize it. That's why they're communicating with you so intensely through your dreams, through the moments where your mind wanders and you'll be like, where did I get that thought from? Or, oh my gosh, that was so interesting. And it's like, it's your angels and it's divinity saying, listen to me. Your subconscious spirit animal message is the seahorse spirit. It says, watch and wait. Everything doesn't happen all at once. Watch and wait as things are set up, as you are moved forward. Watch and wait. The subconscious energy message is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is the warrior queen. And I love it. Now you have the page, the knight, becoming the queen. And the Queen of Swords takes no bull. She cuts through doubts and she cuts through fears and she says, this is where I stand. Here, I always thought that this was a very haughty picture. I didn't get it at first. Because so many times the Queen of Swords can be depicted negatively because she's not going to be ruled by emotions. She's also going to be tempered and balanced by thought and reason. All right? And here she's sitting straight up in her chair and the wind is pushing her back. Well, if you've ever been outside and sitting when it's been super windy, you find that you sit up straighter because you're trying to protect yourself, and you face that wind head on. And that's exactly what she's doing. I had a moment when I was outside when I realized this. I was sitting down and the wind came and I did this pose pretty much. And the card just came right into my mind. And it's like, that's what she's doing. She's being completely in her element. Subconsciously, this is what you're doing during this time. You're straightening your shoulders. You're sitting up quite straight. This is a posture of power. And you are being completely in your element as this fierce warrior, as this determined person to open up your world and to see your prosperity guide you in a way that is extraordinary. And it brings us to the subconscious Terra message, which is the world. And the world opens to you in a way that takes your breath away, in a way that when you're looking into it, you just didn't expect. And it becomes something beautiful. And you embrace it with a sense of awe, a sense of wonder, but also a sense of majesty. And that's how you're moving forward during this time. Subconsciously, you know that a barrier is being broken down. And there's this rebirth, there's this power to you that changes the game. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we step into the world with determination, pride, and dignity of self, embracing dreams in an exquisite way. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.